Look at the state of them. Who'd ever have thought he were a pilot?
Excuse me?
Regina versus Jonathan Lindsay and Deirdre Ann Rashid.
Chin up. We'll soon wipe that smirk off his face.
Jonathan Lindsay, Deirdre Ann Rashid. You are charged on an indictment containing 11 counts. Count 1 charges you, Jonathan Lindsay, with conspiracy to obtain a money transfer by deception. The particulars of that offence are that on various days between the 30th of October and 2nd of December 1997, you did conspire with Deirdre Ann Rashid to obtain a mortgage advance from the Northwest Building Society. Jonathan Lindsay, are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Count 2 charges you, Deirdre Ann Rashid, with obtaining property by deception. The particulars of that offence are that on or about the 17th day of November 1997, you dishonestly obtained from the East Lancastrian Bank a gold card, with the intention of permanently depriving the East Lancastrian Bank thereof by deception, namely by falsely representing that you had the permission of Captain Ian Jenkins to obtain such a credit card. Deirdre Ann Rashid, are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
No one disputes that John Lindsay fell for her charms. I put it to you that she entrapped him in her fantasies, so much so that at her insistence he used his position of trust as house-sitter to borrow, purloin and steal documents that would enable this sad woman to live a life of pretense and dishonesty. You'll hear of one pretense, that John Lindsay was an airline pilot. You may smile at the silliness and self-importance of a chain store tire salesman, but smiles give way to censure when the extent of the frauds become apparent. Deirdre Rashid spent thousands of pounds of money which did not belong to her. She obtained a mortgage. She furnished extravagantly an already luxurious home. She filled the house with top-quality items. She paid for nothing. She withdrew each day for 8 days £500 in cash using her dishonestly acquired gold card. Members of the jury, there is fantasy in this case, sad and risible fantasy. But that's not all. There's theft and fraud. There's gross and calculated dishonesty. A small part of it was perpetrated by Jonathan Lindsay, but all of it was masterminded by Deirdre.
Ladies and gentlemen, my learned friend has presented 2 pictures of Deirdre Rashid, one true, one false. Her life has been as he described, nondescript, ordinary, not the stuff of dreams. She never owned her own home, she never owned her own credit card, and she was never accused of any sort of dishonesty. Then she met Jonathan Lindsay. Yes, she fell head over heels in love with him, but she'd done that before. Yes, she trusted him, but she'd trusted other men. Initially, she believed he was an airline pilot. She moved into the house he told her he'd bought for her. She accepted the credit card he presented to her. A handsome man had told her he loved her and had given her a pot of gold. She was swept along. She didn't stop to think. Her gullibility carried all before it. At a certain point, Mrs. Rashid did indeed discover that John Lindsay was a salesman, not a pilot. But by then, she was infatuated. She should have known that if he'd lied about one thing, he'd lie about another. But she didn't know. She was silly. Her head had been turned. She was the victim of John Lindsay's lies. Yes, she accepted the fraudulently obtained credit card. Yes, she accepted the transfer of the house into her name. Yes, she used the credit card to furnish it, and yes, she withdrew money on that card. But she did all these things innocently. Lindsay committed the mortgage fraud. He's already pleaded guilty to it. What you have to decide is whether Deirdre Rashid was his accomplice. I put it to you that she wasn't. I put it to you that Lindsay obtained the credit card as well as the mortgage. She's not guilty of the charges levelled against her. She's pleasant. She's passive. She's harmless.
Describe what happened.
I opened the door. Mrs. Rashid was standing there. She looked strange. She was very angry, and she shouted things that made no sense.
And then?
There was a taxi waiting. She got inside and it drove away.
Did you see her again?
Yes. She came to the house a few days later.
Was she calm on this occasion?
No, she was far worse. She made wild accusations about my husband.
What was your reaction to these accusations?
I didn't react to them. I was too scared.
What made you scared?
Her manner. She'd lost control. I was afraid she might attack me.
Attack you?
Yes. And I thought she might attack my children.
Thank you, Mrs. Lindsay. I've no further questions.
Mr. Hamilton, you may cross-examine.
Mrs. Lindsay, where were your children at the time of Deirdre Rashid's visit on New Year's Eve?
They were in bed.
Did Mrs. Rashid see them?
No.
Where were they at the time of her second visit?
Visiting friends.
Did Mrs. Rashid ever threaten your children?
John said she did. That's why we went to Ireland.
Did she threaten your children in your hearing?
No. Not in my hearing.
Did she threaten you?
Not in words.
Did she threaten in gestures? For example, did she raise her hand to you?
No.
Did she brandish a weapon?
No.
Well, did she send a note or a letter which threatened violence?
No.
In what sense, then, did she threaten you?
She shouted, and she was unpredictable.
What did she do that you didn't predict?
She came to the house.
And?
She wouldn't leave.
How long did she stay?
I'm not sure.
Well, did she stay hours?
No.
Minutes?
Yes.
How many minutes? 30?
No.
10?
I don't know, I'm not sure.
Less than 10?
I asked her to leave.
Well, did she stay 5 minutes?
Yes, about 5 minutes.
Mrs. Rashid was there for 5 minutes. Your children were not present. She did not attack you. She did not threaten you. She did not threaten your children. Is that correct?
John said she was capable of anything.
Do you always believe what John says?
Yes.
For example, when he said over a period of months that he had to go away on business, did you believe him?
Yes.
Was he telling the truth?
No.
He was seeing Mrs. Rashid?
Yes.
I put it to you, Mrs. Lindsay, that as far as your husband is concerned, you believe what you want to believe. More precisely, perhaps, you believe what he wants you to believe.
Well, that's it. The show's over. She's got off with it.
Mr. Barlow, are you, as you've stated, a retired school teacher?
Yes, I am.
And a male escort in his spare time.
And it was you who first discovered that John Lindsay wasn't a pilot?
Yes, I went to meet someone at Manchester Airport, and I saw him working in the tie shop.
This was contrary to Mrs. Rashid's claim that he was an airline pilot.
It was John Lindsay who claimed to be a pilot. Deirdre had no reason to disbelieve him.
Did you inform Mrs. Rashid of Lindsay's true occupation?
Yes, I did.
Did she urge you to make the truth public?
No.
Did she urge you to say nothing at all?
No.
What did she urge you to do?
Well, she wasn't sure what to do.
But she did embark upon a course of action.
Yes.
Was this course of action to tell her friends and acquaintances that John Lindsay was not and never had been an airline pilot?
No.
No, it wasn't. She carried on the deception, didn't she?
Well, she was confused.
Were you confused?
No.
You were absolutely certain that John Lindsay was a tie salesman?
Yes, I'd seen him twice in the shop, and I'd asked an assistant who he was.
But when Mrs. Rashid concocted a story about John Lindsay, the airline pilot, failing a medical examination and having to take a ground job, you concurred.
She didn't concoct anything. He did.
Mrs. Rashid asked you to join herself and John Lindsay in promulgating a lie.
Yes, but Deirdre's intention was not to deceive anybody. It was simply to save herself from embarrassment.
Did you hear Mrs. Rashid lie in public about John Lindsay's supposed profession, his supposed medical condition, and his supposed new job?
Yes, I did.
Did you contradict any of the lies?
No.
Is it true you still love your ex-wife?
I've always been very fond of her.
Is it true you do anything for her?
Well, I wouldn't lie for her in a court of law.
But you'd lie on other premises? In a public house? In your own home? In the street?
John Lindsay told all the lies.
But you've just admitted that Mrs. Rashid told at least some of them.
Yes, but she didn't mean to.
Mr. Barlow, is it true you'd like to effect a reconciliation with your ex-wife?
No.
But you still have deep feelings for her?
Yes, I do.
Deep feelings for a woman who is a liar, who concocted lies with her accomplice, and who made you lie on her behalf?
It's not like that.
Did Deirdre Rashid lie on her own behalf, and did she put you up to lie on her behalf?
Yes, she did.
Thank you. Have no more questions? Your Honour, the prosecution calls Jonathan Lindsay.
Call Jonathan Lindsay.
At last. Now we might get the truth.
Don't you believe it? We're in a court of law, not a prayer meeting.
Quiet, please. Take the book in your right hand and hold it up. Read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Lindsay, some time after you and the accused became friends, did you begin to wear in public the uniform of an airline pilot?
I regret to say that I did, yes.
Did you, in fact, at that time, make claim to numbers of people that this airline pilot was indeed your profession?
Yes.
For what reason?
Vanity?
Vanity? Your vanity, Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, a little, if I'm being honest. But mainly it was Deirdre's, Mrs. Rashid's. She wanted me to wear the uniform.
This uniform, how did you come by it?
It was Ian's, Captain Jenkins.
Captain Jenkins, the pilot friend whose house you were looking after during his absence abroad.
Yes, I was at the house just to check up, see if everything was all right, and Mrs. Rashid was with me. She was looking around the house and she saw this uniform of Ian's. Well, she urged me to try it on. It was just a game at first, fooling around. Afterwards, she talked me into wearing it to impress people.
To impress people? Is that all?
Well, I thought so, at first. And then much later, it dawned on me. She thought that if I could pass for Ian Jenkins, well, maybe there was money in it.
Mr. Lindsay, you have admitted to the court that you procured a mortgage by fraud, have you not? By forging the signature of your friend, Captain Jenkins, on a mortgage application.
Yes, I plead guilty to that. I should never have let myself be persuaded to do it.
After you moved in together, as regards furnishing the house, what happened?
Well, she bought a lot of furniture and other household goods.
Did you know that she paid for these items via a credit card which drew on Captain Jenkins' account?
No, I didn't.
The jury has heard evidence showing that on 8 separate occasions, Mrs. Rashid drew £500 in cash from Captain Jenkins' account. Did you accompany her when she made those withdrawals?
No, never. I had no idea that was going on.
You're absolutely sure of that?
Absolutely. Because by the time she'd made those withdrawals, Mrs. Rashid and I were no longer together. By that time, I'd realised what a mess I was making of my life, how much pain I was causing to others. I told Mrs. Rashid, the relationship was over. I'd have gone back to my wife and to my children.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. I've no further questions, Your Honour.
You were dividing your life between your wife and Mrs. Rashid, were you not? Virtually maintaining two separate homes.
Yes, I'm not proud of it.
And your wife never suspected? The first she knew of your double life was when the broken-hearted Mrs. Rashid arrived on her doorstep on New Year's Eve. Well, I compliment you, Mr. Lindsay, on an expert job. Because you are you not, an expert and a practised deceiver of women?
I don't think I am, no.
Well, you deceived your wife. You deceived Mrs. Rashid. You told her you were divorced.
No. She knew I was married.
Oh, come now, Mr. Lindsay. And you also deceived her about your job and your lifestyle. You told her you were an airline pilot. Captain Lindsay, no less.
That was her idea. She wanted her friends to think I was a glamorous, important sort of a man.
Are you seriously inviting the jury to believe that Mrs. Rashid begged you to pass yourself off as a pilot, and that you went along with this bizarre request?
She is a very persuasive woman, as I've found to my cost.
Mr. Lindsay, your earnings last year as manager of a tie shop came to a total of £18,000. Is that correct?
It would be something like that, yes.
Well, not a princely sum. Not quite an airline pilot's bracket. Yet, despite that, in that time, you lived in high style. You took out, fraudulently, a hefty mortgage, all the while paying a sizable mortgage on the house your wife and children occupied. As did you, when you could spare them the time. Who paid for all this?
I paid some of it, and Mrs. Rashid paid some. Well, she paid most of it.
Oh, really? But Mrs. Rashid earns even less than you do, as of course you knew.
Her last husband, he would be the third, he died in some kind of accident, and I was always under the impression she'd had compensation money.
Oh, you got the impression?
Well, she lent me £5,000 as a deposit on the house, and as I say, I thought that was compensation money.
Who was going to pay for the wedding, Mr. Lindsay? Your wedding to Mrs. Rashid?
There wasn't going to be a wedding. I couldn't marry her. I was married already.
Mrs. Rashid and you gave a housewarming party, did you not?
Yes.
At that party, did you make a speech announcing a wedding day for you and Mrs. Rashid? About a dozen people, who I am prepared to call as witnesses, heard you, did they not?
All right. Well, that was what she wanted. She wanted me to make a fake marriage. But it was the last straw for me. I realised it had gone too far. I told my wife everything, and I broke free of Mrs. Rashid's grip. I wish I'd never met her.
I put it to you, Mr. Lindsay, that for almost a year, you based a lifestyle way beyond your means on fraud, forgery, and deception.
No.
You defrauded your friend, Captain Jenkins. You deceived your wife. And, the greatest deception of all, you attempted to make your third victim, Mrs. Deirdre Rashid, take the blame.
That isn't true at all.
You forged the credit card application to draw on Captain Jenkins' account, putting it in Mrs. Rashid's name so that she would seem to be the beneficiary.
I didn't even know she had the card.
Financing your inflated lifestyle behind her skirts so that she would carry the can when the whole rotten house of cards collapsed.
That isn't the way it is. I've told you the truth.
I put it to you that what you have told this court is a web of lies, constructed with one aim and one aim only: to make Mrs. Rashid look like the instigator of your frauds.
No.
Can I have a word, please? Look, take a tip from me, love, in case your brief doesn't tell you. But if she's any good, she will. First thing tomorrow, change your plea.
What?
You've got no chance, so make it easy on yourself. Change your plea to guilty. You'll get off lighter.
But I'm not guilty.
Okay. Please yourself, then. It's your life. I'm just trying to help you.
What's all that about?
He says I haven't a hope. I should plead guilty.
I don't think you should take any notice of him, Deirdre. Do you, Mr. Baldwin?
Nah. He was just trying to frighten you, that's all.
Well, I'll tell you something. He made a good job of it.
There we go. What can I get for you, Frankie?
Oh, not for me, thanks. I'm driving.
So, how do you think it went today?
I'm sorry I shouted out like that. But when he stood in that witness box, lying and lying and lying...
Don't worry about it, Deirdre. It shouldn't do you any harm with the jury. That man's a swine.
Yeah, very plausible, though. I mean, I can see how you were taken in.
Oh, don't remind me. What did Mr. Hamilton say? Poor, deluded, infatuated, and he's on my side.
Yeah, the way Lindsay worked in the ex-husbands. I'm sure he's trying to convince the jury that you're some sort of man-eater.
I have to say, he gave a rather good performance in the witness box.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is, a performance.
Yeah. All the same, I've always thought this trial is going to hang on who the jury decide to believe. You or him. They're going to have to choose. Yeah, he was good today, Deirdre. But tomorrow, you're going to have to be just as good. When you go into that witness box, it'll all be down to you.
You're a graphologist who's looked at the forged signatures in this case. Perhaps you could tell the court your findings.
Yes, there are two kinds of forgery here. The one John Lindsay made on the mortgage application was done freehand, and the one on the credit card application was done with tracing paper.
And what's the difference?
Well, with a freehand forgery, we can tell the forger's identity. When it's traced, his personal idiosyncrasies are ironed out. We can tell it's a forgery, but not who did it.
So there's no way of telling who did the one on the credit card?
That's right.
It could have been either Jonathan Lindsay or Deirdre Rashid.
It could have been anyone.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honour.
Dr. Taylor, was the forgery on the mortgage application a good one?
Extremely.
So, John Lindsay is a skillful forger?
Of that signature, yes.
And the one on the credit card application, was that good?
That was also very good.
Would it need someone with John Lindsay's skill to do it?
That level of skill, yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Rashid, did you at any time in your relationship with John Lindsay know he was married?
No. He told me he was divorced. As soon as I found out, I left him.
How often did he stay with you during your relationship?
He was away half the time. He told me he was flying. He was with his wife and kids.
And you had no reason to disbelieve him?
I never doubted him, till I found out he worked in a shop.
Some people will say you should have left him then.
And they'd have been right. Only he told me another good lie, so I stayed with him. I loved him too much.
Whose idea was it to move into Ian Jenkins' house?
His.
He says it was yours. You wanted to impress your friends.
If that were true, then I'd have hung on to my own flat in case it all went wrong. I had to crawl back to the chap I'd given it to and ask for it back. I was totally humiliated.
Indeed. Well, then you bought a house together. Who arranged the mortgage?
He did.
Had you any idea he was doing this fraudulently through Ian Jenkins' account?
None whatsoever.
Did you at any stage put pressure on him to arrange this mortgage?
On the contrary, I asked him several times if he could afford it. He assured me he could.
And the credit card in your name, who arranged that?
He did. I knew nothing about it till he gave it to me.
Did you know it had been obtained fraudulently?
Not until the police told me, no.
The £4,000 you drew on that card in January, why did you do that?
I found out he was married. I wanted me £5,000 deposit on the house back, so I started drawing it on the card, 500 a day, till the machine swallowed it.
So what did you do then?
Well, I went to the bank to ask why.
You weren't afraid they'd apprehend you?
I would have been if I'd done something wrong. I'd have run a mile, just like he did.
What did you do when you discovered the card was on Ian Jenkins' account?
I offered to pay it all back. I couldn't believe it. I still can't.
Did you see John Lindsay again after he absconded?
Yes. He turned up and apologised for everything that had happened. He told me his wife had threatened to kill herself if he left her. And then he asked me to go to Venezuela with him.
And what did you do then?
Well, I rang the police. I was terrified. That's how they caught him.
Who would you say made the running in this relationship?
He did. From start to finish. He asked me out, he asked me to live with him, he asked me to marry him. He even arranged the wedding day without consulting me.
The Crown contends you were the creative intelligence behind this fraud.
If I was intelligent, do you think I'd be here now? I'm going to spend the rest of my life asking myself how I could have been so stupid.
Do you often frequent singles bars, Mrs. Rashid?
No, I do not.
You say he was in his uniform when he first asked you out.
Yes.
That wasn't the first time you've met him, though, was it?
Well, no, it was the second.
You see, if we're not sure you're telling the truth in these matters, how can we trust the rest of what you say? Especially when it depends on our believing that you fell for the most extraordinary lies. On the day you move into his house, his ex-wife just happens to have changed the locks and left a note of explanation on the door.
Well, I agree. It seems fishy.
There was no such note, was there? John Lindsay refused to let you move into what you knew was Ian Jenkins's house. You invented the note to save face with your friend.
That is not true.
Then just 2 weeks after you learn he's been lying about his new job, lo and behold, he's promoted as sales director. And coincidence of coincidences, he has to spend the same amount of time away from home as he did before. Did this not strike you as rather odd?
I'm not denying I've been stupid.
And are we really expected to believe you thought he could afford that size of mortgage?
He said he'd been promoted.
All the stranger, then. If he could afford it, he couldn't put his hands on a measly $5,000 for a deposit.
He said it was all tied up.
But not to worry. Surprise, surprise, you could find it. This was insurance money you had, I believe, after your third husband died in mysterious circumstances 18 months ago. Or have I got that wrong?
No.
I put it to you, Mrs. Rashid, you were the prime mover in these deceptions, and it was you who lied so you could go on with them. You took advantage of a weak and impressionable man who was besotted with you for your own material gain.
This is absolute rubbish.
So you'd have us believe you fell time and again for this litany of lies. A sales director who works in Aberdeen on Christmas morning and Portsmouth on Christmas night?
I agree, it looks ridiculous.
Beyond belief would be how I'd put it. Nobody of your considerable experience could be that gullible. Why didn't you go to the police when you found out he was married?
I wish I had done now. I didn't see the point.
To report an intended bigamy. You must have hated him by now, if your story's true. You didn't go because you were milking Ian Jenkins' account for all it was worth, in case John Lindsay went to the police to blow the gaff.
Well, why did I go to the bank when they took my card then?
Because you thought you'd get away with it, like you had been doing. That's when you overreached yourself. The house of cards collapses. Mrs. Rashid, if John Lindsay is the author of this crime, tell me, what did he get out of it, financially?
Well, that's not why he did it. He's a fantasist. He wanted to impress me.
Please answer the question. What did he get out of it?
Well, nothing.
Exactly.
But
The house was yours, and so was the credit card. He didn't make a penny.
Mrs. Bishop, how long have you known Deirdre Rashid?
25 years.
Perhaps you tell the court your opinion of her.
I'd be delighted. She's honest, reliable, hard-working. She was a good mother to her daughter, Tracy, my goddaughter. I've always had the highest regard for her.
When she told you that she'd fallen for an airline pilot, did you have any reason to doubt her?
None whatsoever.
I believe John Lindsay once told you about the ear imbalance he claimed had lost him his job.
Yes, he did.
Perhaps you could explain what the problem was.
But no, I'm afraid I can't. It was far too technical.
It was convincing.
Everything about him was convincing. I can quite see how Deirdre was taken in.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bishop, I believe you were involved in a recent protest on common land known as the Red Wreck.
Yes.
You climbed a tree to stop contractors getting on with their legally approved work.
Yes.
How do you square this with your reputation for being an upright, law-abiding citizen?
I climbed that tree for something I believed in, regardless of the consequences. I'm here today for the same reason. If Deirdre's guilty of these preposterous allegations, then I'm a banana.
That's right. Run, because you've plenty to hide.
I don't need this.
You don't need it.
You threaten me, I'll go straight to the police.
Oh, don't worry. You're not the one I'd like to kill.
My husband has done nothing wrong except what you forced him into.
Don't give me that. Are you saying you never suspected him? You know he's lying, don't you? Only you can't admit it, because your marriage would fall to pieces and your kids would see their dad go to jail.
No.
No. You'd rather see me put away, wouldn't you? An innocent woman. Do you want that on your conscience for the rest of your life?
Oh, stop it.
It's you who could stop it, Linda. There's still time.
John's right. You're mad.
Oh, well done.
You were very brave.
I wasn't very good, though, was I?
You were fantastic, love it. Honestly, they can twist things how they like. Anybody can see you're innocent.
You didn't always think that, though, did you, Audrey?
I know better now, though.
And Best Supporting Actress to Emily, I think.
It wasn't an act, I can assure you, Mr. Gilroy.
Absolutely.
The jury's back.
Have the jury reached verdicts on all the counts on the indictment to which they are all agreed?
Yes, we have.
On count 1, conspiring to obtain a mortgage by fraud, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
On count 2, obtaining a credit card by deception, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
On the 2 specimen counts of obtaining goods and services by deception, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
On 8 counts of illicitly withdrawing sums of £500 from the credit card company of Mr. Ian Jenkins, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty on all 8 counts.
This isn't right! There's the real villain, sitting there, grinning all over his face.
Sit down and be quiet, that man, or you'll be removed from the court and charged with contempt. I will not have this kind of behavior interrupting the legal process. Court will adjourn briefly, then reconvene for sentencing. Those of you who need to will cool your tempers in the meantime. Court is adjourned. Yes, stand up, will you both, please?
Pray, Amala.
I haven't stopped.
Jonathan Lindsay and Deirdre Rashid, you have between you carried out quite ruthless and deliberately planned fraud. Had Ian Jenkins not returned unexpectedly, the chances are it would still be going on today. However, while this was clearly a joint effort, blame cannot be equally apportioned, and I will reflect that in my sentencing. Jonathan Lindsay, you deliberately impersonated Ian Jenkins and forged his signature to procure a mortgage. This is a criminal act which rightly carries a prison sentence. However, I am satisfied you feel remorse for what you've done, and your plea of guilty is to your credit. I also recognize that your better judgment was clouded by your infatuation with Deirdre Rashid, and that she exploited this to the full. Therefore, on the count against you, conspiracy to obtain a money transfer by deception, I pass on you a sentence of 6 months imprisonment, suspended for 2 years. I hope for your sake that we never see you in these courts again. Deirdre Ann Rashid, the jury has found you guilty by a unanimous verdict of all the counts against you. You are clearly the orchestrator of this serious fraud, and your offence was aggravated by recruiting someone else to assist you. You ensnared a vulnerable married man, then coolly and systematically exploited him for your own material gain. I have heard the pleas for leniency from your counsel, and I recognize that you are without previous convictions. However, I can give you no credit nor offer any leniencies following your pleas of not guilty. Unlike Jonathan Lindsay, you strenuously denied these crimes and have shown no remorse whatever. I have no option but to pass on you a custodial sentence. On count 1, conspiracy to obtain a money transfer by deception, I sentence you to 18 months imprisonment. On count 2, obtaining property, specifically a gold card by deception, I sentence you to 6 months imprisonment. On counts 3 to 10, theft, the 8 separate counts of stealing £500, I sentence you to 12 months imprisonment. And on the final specimen count, that of obtaining property by deception, I sentence you to 6 months imprisonment. All these sentences will run concurrently, making a total custodial sentence of 18 months. It will begin immediately. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you anything to say?
I didn't do any of it.
Right. Take the defendant down, will you?
Well, I don't know how she's going to get through it.
Yeah, well, here's the one who should be going down.
Yes.
I hope you're happy.
I have got nothing to say.
No, I bet you haven't. You had plenty when you came to my house that day, didn't you? Begging me to go along with your lie.
Do you want to go and find a security
Doing it
guard?
to save Deirdre the humiliation, you said. Is that what you're doing now?
Oh, there's one. Let's go.
Hey, Mrs. Lindsay, sweet dreams. I'm sure you've got nothing on your conscience after what you said in there.
We're not going to let this go till you're behind bars. Just wait for that knock on the door. It'll come soon enough.
Fine words, Barlow. Pity you didn't have any in the witness box. You might have saved them. You shouldn't have stopped her going to Spain. She should have been sunning herself on a beach by now.
Well, on somebody else's passport, and how long would that have lasted?
They stay there forever.
Is that for Deirdre? They don't hang about, do they?
Let's go and see. Come on.
Deirdre! We'll get you out. Don't worry, we'll do everything we can.
Hey, Andy.
Thanks very much, Vera.
What's happened? Where's Deirdre?
It's in the back of a security van on the M62 somewhere.
What?
She got 18 months.
Oh, they never found her guilty. Can I have a large red wine, large gin and tonic for Audrey, and whatever else?
No, I'll get these, Samantha. What did he get?
Oh, 6 months suspended. I mean, swanned out of there with a 6-mile grin on his face.
Well, that's disgraceful.
Can't she appeal?
Yeah, she's going to Mike sorting it with his barrister now.
Deirdre in prison.
Oh, do you know, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
Oh, then I made a mistake. Then let it out.
Oh, there's been a mistake, all right, but I wouldn't hold your breath.
Deirdre and Rashid, is this your first offence?
It's my first time in prison. I haven't committed an offence.
Are you taking any drugs or medication?
No.
Right, we have to account for your jewellery. Could you take it all off, please?
Well, will I be able to keep it?
We advise you not to, just in case you're mugged.
Mugged?
It goes on, unfortunately.
Well, this is my wedding ring.
I'd leave it here if I were you.
When will I get my handbag back, by the way? They took it off me at the court.
Not till you leave prison.
It's got my purse in and my makeup, everything.
That's the rule, I'm afraid. We'll give you £2.50 later, and you can buy makeup at the shop. Did you bring any spare clothes with you?
I didn't know I'd be staying.
Do you want DPA?
What?
Spare second-hand clothes. They're clean.
No choice, have I?
Right, if you'd like to come over here. If you could go inside and remove your clothes, we need to search you.
Search me?
It'll only take a few minutes. If you could give me your shoes first. You wait here now while we allocate you a cell. We'll put you in with another new admission.
Doesn't she need help?
Tina? Well, she's well used to it. Nurse will see her in a bit. Miss Veach, the governor will see you tomorrow. You're from round here, aren't you?
Weatherfield.
Well, she'll probably let you stay here for your full term then. It's only 18 months. This is Deirdre. She'll be on your wing. You'll be seeing a lot of Officer Veach. Anything you want, just ask her, OK? I'll leave her with you.
Hello, Deirdre. Welcome to your new home.
Here we are, girls. Home sweet home. Show Deirdre the ropes, will you, Jackie? You should know them by now.
Whatever you say, miss.
Got everything you need, Deirdre.
No idea.
Just sign this.
What is it?
Inventory. Anything goes missing from in here and it's up to you two.
Oh, things don't change much in this place, do they? Still treat you like criminals.
Is it always this noisy?
You'll get used to it. See you in the morning.
First time.
You guessed.
What are you in for?
Fraud.
Ooh.
But I'm innocent.
Sure you are, love. You don't mind me taking the bottom bunk, do ya? Want to smoke?
No. So, what are you in here for?
Actual bodily harm. I got into a fight with somebody trying to nick me, fella.
And they put you in here for that?
I was on probation. They give me 3 warnings already. I'm just violent when it comes to women trying to nick my man. Can't help it.
I don't think I'm going to survive this.
Look, girl, I'll give you a bit of advice. Don't borrow nothing, don't lend nothing, don't give nothing. If somebody tries to give you a hug, push them away. They'll only be trying to get into your pockets or planting stuff.
Oh, and that's supposed to get me through, is it? What's happening now?
It's just lights out.
Girls, be quiet!
Night, girls. Nice.
It's only about 8:30. Are we expected to sleep through this?
Look, it'll go quiet in a few hours. You'll be all right.
But I shouldn't be here. I haven't done anything. There's been a mistake. There's been a mistake.
Oh, hell's bells. Deirdre, have you gotten into smoke? I'm talking to you. Have you got any smokes?
No.
What? Nothing? Not even ordinary fags?
No.
Oh, hell. I've got to get something. Oh, drive you mad, this place. 11, 12 hours at a stretch. Deirdre, are you deaf or what? I'm talking to you.
Yes, okay, I can hear you.
Well, you better get up. It'll be breakfast in a bit. Come on, I might be able to bum a sickie off someone. You best get moving. You do want to get out of here, don't you?
Yeah. That's what I want.
Hey, I know her. Mandy, she's called. She was in style same time as me. Oh, she's a right good laugh, she is. Hey, how did you get on with the governor? You were supposed to see the governor this morning. Did you not see her?
Yes, she did. What did the governor say to you, Deirdre?
She said I'd probably be kept here as it's so close to me home.
Oh, that's nice of her, wasn't it, miss? Mind you, it's only right and all.
I told her it didn't matter a damn where I was.
Wrong attitude, Deirdre. Still, you'll learn.
Because I shouldn't be here. I haven't done anything, and I'm going to appeal. I won't be here long.
Now, see, Deirdre, you have your dinner. I'll talk to you later.
Come on, girl.
I don't want anything.
Now then, soft girl, you don't want to use anything that's on offer. If you don't want anything, I'll have it. Come on and sit with Mandy. Good way to meet her mates.
I don't want to meet her mates. I don't want to have anything to do with her or with anybody else.
That'll do, Deirdre. Now calm down and get a grip, OK?
Oh, it's you. Come in.
Had a visit from Emily with her posters.
Oh, yeah? I haven't seen them yet. What are they like?
Well, they look like posters. Put one up, but quite frankly, I think I'm wasting my time. Posters won't get Deirdre out of prison. Just make Emily feel a bit better.
Yeah, but help her to know that her friends are fighting for her.
Her real friends, yes. Had a word with the solicitor, Frankie Stillburn. I told her to get cracking with the appeal.
Oh, that should buck her up.
Trouble is, there's a bit of a problem.
Oh, yeah? Money? Well, perhaps we ought to get a fund going.
No, it's not the money. Mind you, there is that too. It's just that, well, when Frank and Hamilton decide what to appeal against, it goes into the system, which grinds along at 2 speeds. Slow and stop. So by the time the appeal gets into court, she could have served her sentence.
Oh, my God.
Still want me to go ahead with the appeal?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thought you would. Tell Deirdre I'm dealing with it, all right?
I hate these first few days. They're the worst. After a week, well, it's not so bad anyway. These couple of days, though, really get you down. It's dead obvious you've not been inside before.
I haven't done anything. Not this time, not ever. I shouldn't be here.
I know, and I was unlucky and all. They just fit people up, don't they?
It's true. I didn't do what I'm accused of doing.
Oh, stop going on, will you? If there's one thing that does my head in, well, it's someone who can't do the birds.
Deirdre, reception visitor for you, name of Barlow.
It's Ken. My husband, my ex-husband. Maybe he's got some good news for me.
Deirdre, don't you think it's time you stopped kidding yourself?
I keep telling you, there's been a mistake. I haven't done anything wrong.
She goes on like that all the flaming time, miss. I've told her. She's asking for it, talking like that in here.
That's right. Now listen to me, Deirdre. There are women in here who won't take kindly to you making out you're different to them. You're here for the same reason they're here, because the law says so. Now you buckle down and accept it. It's the only way to get through.
That's what I keep telling her, miss.
You listen to Jackie. When you've been inside as long as she has, you'll realise she's right.
Deirdre.
Okay. I've got to get out of here. I can't bear it.
Well, that's the first thing I want to tell you. The appeal is going forward. It'll all be done as quickly as possible. I'm sure it'll overturn the verdict.
That's wonderful. Ken, it is so good to see you.
Bought you some clothes, by the way. Oh, and on Liz's advice, I got you a little radio, one of those with the earphones, you know. Thought it might help. All your friends are thinking about you. They're all with you. They all believe in you. I think they're going to call time soon, so before they do...
I just want to come home, Ken. When I get out of here, I'm never going to take anything for granted again. Things like home and being able to just walk in and out of it. Being with friends and ordinary, decent people.
I know. Now, look, as far as I can gather, you only get a visit every 2 weeks. And Tracy wants to come.
No. No, tell her she mustn't. I don't want her to see me in here. Tell her she mustn't.
But...
No. When I get home, tell her. That'll be time enough. After me appeal.
But, you know, Deirdre, it could be a while yet. It's a long, drawn-out process, I gather.
What do you mean, a while? How long?
Well, it seems there's a logjam of cases waiting to be heard, and you have to get leave to appeal first, and then you wait in line. I mean, I think we're talking months rather than weeks.
Months? No, Ken, I can't. I can't.
Yes, you can. You've got to find the strength somehow, and you will. You're a strong person. Look, I'm sorry, Deirdre, but however hard we push, you're going to have to face up to it. You're going to be here for a long time.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? You've got at least an hour before breakfast.
I know, I just...
Look, do yourself a favour. Use time, measure it. You've got to learn to love time, innit? That's all you've got.
I just wanted to be doing something.
Yeah, sound, but do it slowly. OK, you've got an hour. But what are you going to do in 10 seconds' time when you've got all your clothes on? Walk up and down until breakfast? No. Now me, I put my top on at 7:20 and I go back and have another 10 minutes and dream about who's going to take it off. Usually it's my Darren, but I've been known to wonder. In my dreams, that is. Funny things, dreams.
Can you be quiet? Just for 5 minutes.
Hey, get you. What's got up your nose? You want to learn to relax, you do. Tell you what, you know when we go down to the pool this afternoon, ask Mr. Watson for a massage. He's the screw what runs it. Oh, he's dead nice. He's got lovely soft hands, you know.
Pool?
Yeah.
A swimming pool?
There's something wrong with you? Are you deaf or what?
No, I just... Nobody said. I haven't got a costume.
They kick you out. Anyway, if you don't want the massage, you can get the jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi?
Are you a Paris or something? Stop repeating everything I say.
No, I'm sorry. It's just... pool and jacuzzi. I had no idea.
Why? What do you think this is? A prison or something? Didn't they tell you when you come in?
No.
Oh, I don't know. Communications in this dump. I bet they didn't tell you the date either.
No.
The things they expect you to work out for yourself. So, what day is it then?
Date? March... No, April the 1st.
I wished I'd have had me video camera. I could have sent it to Jeremy Beadle. Hey, you also start eating, you know, Deirdre. That's the 3rd breakfast of yours I've shoved down my gob. Not that I'm complaining. Where's your sense of humour, eh? Hey? You're not going to get very far if you haven't got one in here. So cheer up.
Just don't try pulling any more stunts like that one.
Ooh, temper, temper.
I mean it.
OK, simmer down. What classes are you going to do?
I don't know. Said something about it at reception. I didn't really take it in.
Oh, they do all sorts. You can learn a trade. There's tailoring, typing. What did you do before you got in here?
Manager of a travel agency.
Oh, manager. Still, there's things you can learn. What do you reckon? Get you out for a few hours.
No, I don't think so.
Why?
Well, I don't think I'd fit in.
Yeah, you would. There's all sorts in here.
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're not sure you'll fit in because we're not good enough for you. That's what it is, isn't it?
No, I just meant...
Look, Gail, why do you think they put us in here, eh? Why? Because you're a first-timer. And I've been here before. And I'm telling you, if you take that snotty-nosed, stuck-up attitude much further, you'll find it'll get rammed down your gob faster than your breakfast does down mine.
Well, I couldn't give a toss. OK. I shouldn't be here. I don't want to be here, and I certainly don't want to learn a new flaming skill at my time of life. So you can take your classes and you can shove them.
Hey, it's not bad, that. Not bad. Maybe you will make it. So, tailoring, is it?
Oh, why not?
She seems very down.
I think the word is desperate. I've already been awake all night trying to think what I could do.
Well, there is a small piece in here about the campaign. She might like to know about it.
Oh, great. Where?
Oh, page 9. Underneath a paragraph about a mountain bike being stolen from a backyard in Inkerman Street.
Oh.
I suppose we could put it under a photocopier and blow it up a bit before we send it to her.
Before or after I show her this?
More bad news?
Sunliners officially dismissing her. They stopped her wages from the end of last week.
Did he split the scene then?
He died.
Oh, right. That'll explain how come you ended up with that what's-his-face, the con man. They target lonely widows, you know, as a soft touch. It's an old fact.
Is that right? And what do they find so flaming funny?
Chill, Lou.
Well, I'm sick of them. They're always having a go at me. They're no better to do.
Face it, you haven't exactly made yourself Miss Popular around here, have you? Oh, look, dear, I know you don't mean it, but you can come across as a bit of a snotty cow.
What, because I won't be called a criminal?
That's one of the things that gets up the noses, isn't it? Going on that you shouldn't be in here with us scrubbers.
I never called anyone a scrubber.
You don't have to, love.
Well, do they all hold their hands up to everything they're accused of?
No, but they don't go around moaning the whole time that they're not guilty. Any road, what is guilty? Most of the girls are only inside through some lousy fella. Just like you.
Rashid, a word.
What now?
The governor's had a phone call from the Court of Appeal. They've had a cancellation. They've slotted you in.
You mean me appeal? When?
Today, 2 o'clock.
Oh, I can't believe it. Did you hear that? Tell me I'm not dreaming.
It's only a hearing. No guarantee which way it's going to go.
I'm going to walk out of there a free woman. I told you I didn't think I was going to be in here much longer. Not 2 minutes ago. I could feel it in my bones. So, what's the procedure then? I mean, if they allow the appeal, will they let me go home straight away? They wouldn't make me come back in here overnight or anything, would they? Well, mind you, somebody will have to come back in and pick up all my bits and pieces. Not that I'll want to wear anything that I've worn in here again. I should probably burn it or send it to Oxfam. You said I could borrow a coat or something.
No need.
But it'll be cold outside.
You're not going outside.
What do you mean?
You had a fair trial. You were found guilty, and now you've to pay the price the same as the rest of them. You're doing no favours pretending otherwise. See that door?
The door?
Take a good look at it, because it's not there to let you out, it's there to keep you in.
Are you telling me this was all some kind of sick joke?
Nothing personal, Rashid, but the sooner you get that into your head, the better.
Realise our destiny. Roll over, let's milk it. Glitter up on the FTX. Back already? That was quick. Oh dear, I'm sorry. But you would go building your hopes up. I did try to warn you not to take things for granted. But you'll be all right, girl. You've just got to knuckle down to it, and it's not so bad near then. Hey? At least you don't have to worry about paying your bills.
Get out. Go away and leave me alone.
got another fan? Moustache and beard this time. Original, isn't it? Where'd you want it?
With the rest of them in the bin.
Deirdre, you mad? How many times have you been described as a mild man of manners today? I'd have that framed and sent to all me mates. I'd cut that photo out, though. Not very nice of you, is it? Oh, I'm only joking.
Isn't everybody?
Jealousy. Even though you only did make page 9, they've got nothing better to talk about.
I'd noticed.
Well, laugh with them. Let it blow over. If they suss it's getting to you, they'll wind you up even more. Are you coming to brekkie?
I'm not hungry.
I brought you in some things, but I had to leave them at the desk. No doubt they'll give them to you later. You know, chocolates, cakes, things like that. No files in them, though. Everyone sends their love. Ken, Emily, Angie. Oh, and the gang at the Rovers are asking after you. Alma too, of course.
That's nice.
Well, they say every cloud has a silver lining. Who'd have thought that me and Barlow could be in the same room for 5 minutes? We're getting quite pally because of you. We'll get you out of here, sweetheart. You can trust us. Deirdre. Deirdre? Well, at least say something. Miss, she's not talking. I mean, she needs help. How is she?
Very distressed, I'm afraid.
Where is she?
We've taken her over to the hospital wing. The doctor's put her under a mild sedation.
Can I see her?
I'm afraid not. She's resting.
I just want to make sure she's all right.
She'll be well looked after. The prison psychologist will see her in the next day or so.
You know, a week ago she was okay, and now she's a wreck. It's putting her in that cell that's done this to her. Can't you see she doesn't need to be locked up? She needs help.
And she'll get it. She'll be quite safe. We've put her on a 15-minute watch.
In case of what?
It's a precaution.
Like you cared. To you, she's just another scrubber, but I tell you this, you are wrong. She's innocent.
Can I offer you some advice, mister?
Mike Baldwin.
If you really care, stop telling Mrs. Rashid she's different.
You what?
If she'd been encouraged to accept a sentence, she might not be in this state today. She's a convicted criminal, just like the hundreds of other convicted criminals in this prison. Raising her expectations when you can't fulfil them, that's not what I call caring. I'd call that cruel.
I'm reporting you for this.
You do that, sir. Warden Veitch. V-E-I-T-C-H.
No good. Give us it here. Hey, love, here. Sign this petition, will you?
Deirdre Rashid is innocent.
Oh, thanks, love. Yes, I think on. Come on.
Free Deirdre Rashid.
You know, I just wonder whether what we're doing, you know, all this, isn't more for our sake than for Deirdre's. Well, I mean, it makes us feel good, doesn't it? It makes us feel as if we're doing something, but what is it actually achieving for Deirdre? Nothing.
Lets her know we care.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
We don't need a man every time, Mr. Barlow?
Yes.
You're to do with this campaign about the woman who's been sent to jail?
Yes, I am.
Only I used to know the man she's involved with.
Really?
John Lindsay.
So, how then? Where do you know John Lindsay from?
From when he wasn't calling himself John Lindsay for a start.
Sorry?
James Anderson he was when I knew him. But I think that's about all he's changed.
I don't understand.
Tell you what, it must have been fate that I got wind of this. Because I don't normally get the Sunday papers myself. But lucky my sister saw it and she phoned me.
From that article?
Yeah, the one with his picture. I couldn't believe it. I mean, after all this time. And me thinking that he'd legged it off out the country. But no, there he is, and he's doing it all again.
Again? How do you mean?
Like exactly how he did it to me. The same lies, the credit cards, honest to God. And this poor woman, well, she's come off even worse.
What? Do you mean... are you saying he's done all this before?
That's why I had to come and tell you. When I read that he was married with 2 kids... Well, you tell me what the hell this is.
Let me out! Let me out! I'm not mad! I'm innocent!
Stand back from the door. Stand back, I'm unlocking you.
Oh, thank God!
OK, Deirdre, come on.
What are you doing?
Doctor's going to give you something to calm you down.
No!
All right, Deirdre, stay calm. Deirdre, this will make you feel better. Now, stay calm. That's it. That's it, Deirdre. OK, you'll be fine now. That's it.
All right, just relax.
Are you sure we're definitely talking about the same man?
Definitely. Look, here's a photo of us on our wedding day. My James Anderson is your John Lindsay.
Even wearing that fake uniform?
And them saying in the paper that your friend made him dress up for her. God, well, I knew they twisted that the wrong way.
So, it will be 4 years ago that he married you?
June 94.
So he must have been already married to the mother of his children by then. Well, I presume so, if they are in fact married.
Yeah, but it's not just the bigamy we can get him on, is there? There's the credit cards as well.
We can't prove he had anything to do with that.
Well, I can prove it. £17,000 worth of debt he left me with. And Luton CID have got the evidence.
What? They've got actual evidence?
Application forms, credit card slips, I'm telling you. Because he obviously wasn't so clever about it when he was fiddling me. Just I was daft enough.
But, why did they arrest him?
Because he disappeared, vanished. And I bet you he'll be off doing it again if we don't get him stopped.
I can't quite believe this. Oh, no, not what you're saying. That is fantastic. This could be all we need.
Well, get on and use it then.
Right. Well, I think we must get you together with Deirdre's solicitor first. I should have left the office. Go get her on a mobile. How much time have you got?
Oh, as long as it takes. No, I mean it. I've waited too long to see that scumbag get his comeuppance.
Right. Well, I've just got to give someone a call. He knows how to get hold of Miss Stillman, and then, hopefully...
Very good.
Evening, Alma.
Oh, hi.
This is Mary Doherty.
It's a bit late in the evening to be introducing your girlfriend, isn't it?
She's John Lindsay's wife. His other wife.
So he applied for all these credit cards in your joint names?
Yeah, with him as an additional card holder.
Well, surely this is proof to anyone that there's been a miscarriage of justice.
Well, if it is, why doesn't she go straight to the police? Why do you have to go getting your solicitor in?
You know why?
No, I don't.
Well, you would if you were in Deirdre's shoes. What do you reckon then, Frankie?
Well, in my opinion, all things being equal, I think we've got every chance of securing Deirdre's release.
Fantastic!
And hopefully pretty swiftly.
Well, thank God.
You should thank Mary here.
Oh, I do, don't we all? Well, cheers. Well done.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'll get onto it first thing and give you a call about lunchtime.
Great. And thanks for giving up your evening. I appreciate that.
I just wish we had Mary at the trial.
Yeah.
But I think we'll soon see that innocent smile wiped off John Lindsay's face.
That's what I like about you. You hate to lose.
I'll see myself out.
Right then, let's tell Deirdre the good news.
What? How do you mean?
Well, you know what I mean. They got phones in prisons, haven't they?
Don't be stupid. They won't put you through to the prisoners.
Well, not at this hour of the night, will they?
They can give her a message, can't they?
But you booked a visit for tomorrow anyway.
Oh, hello. I'd like to get an urgent message, please, to one of your residents. Mrs. Deirdre Rashid.
Wing Officer Veach? Rashid? Yes, OK, put him through.
Hello?
I understand you got a message for Deirdre Rashid.
Yes, I have. It's Mike Baldwin speaking. I need you to tell her to get in touch with me urgently. Tell her we got some fantastic news and we're going to get her out of there, and fast.
That's the message, is it?
Tell her we got some fantastic new evidence, and it's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Anything else?
Yeah. Tell her to call me as soon as she can.
Call as soon as she can.
Thank you.
Can't thank you enough for coming forward, Mary.
Well, just get him nicked. That's all I want.
He's as good as finished, believe you me.
Yeah, well, you've got my number.
Yeah, as soon as we get any news, I'll give you a ring.
Okay.
I just wish you could be with me tomorrow, just to see Deirdre's face.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she would have done the same for me. Because she'll want exactly what I want done to him.
You make yourself worse if you don't eat.
Is that a promise?
And thinking like that won't do you any good.
What do you care?
You're not even going to drink your tea?
No, I've had all I want.
Oh, by the way, you had a phone call.
Who from?
Your escape committee.
Who from?
Mike Baldwin.
What did he say?
Oh, all sorts of stuff. My usual rubbish.
All right. You've made your point. I won't get out of here. I accept that now. Does that make you happy? Just leave me alone, will you?
Fantastic news. Oh, it's wonderful. I dare hardly believe it.
So, how soon will she be out?
Well, that's in the lap of the gods, but I don't think we should expect it too soon.
But it won't be that long from what you're saying.
Visitor for you downstairs. Deirdre? I'll tell him you're not up to it, shall I?
No. Wait. I'll come.
Deirdre, what have they done to you?
I can't take much more of this, Mike.
Well, you don't have to. It's good news. Didn't you get my message?
No.
There's new evidence. You're going to be free.
Mike, this isn't good for me.
I don't know what you mean.
They've told me I've got to accept reality if I'm going to get through this.
This is reality. You're going to get out.
Oh, you don't understand. I mustn't have my hopes raised. I've got to accept what's happened.
Deirdre, will you listen to me? This Mary Doherty, she got conned just like you. She even married the bloke. It's all on police record. Frank has checked it out, and she's applying to have you out on bail. They're going to get that Lindsay and stuff him.
You mean I really could be out soon?
I wouldn't say so if it wasn't true. Well, I phoned you last night to tell you I left a message.
Last night?
Yeah. I was amazed you didn't ring back. I told, what's her name, Veach. But she was in a bit of a state when I got there.
Oh, why was that?
It's all these drugs they're giving her to calm her down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Do you know she didn't even get that message I left last night?
But she's all right now.
Oh, yeah, she perked up a bit once it sunk in.
Right, so what happens next then?
Well, we get the paperwork sorted out and get on with the celebration.
Are you sure this is for real?
It's all documented. He wouldn't have told me.
I just hope you're right.
Oh, what is it about this place? You get a bit of good news and everybody's down on you.
Yeah, but it doesn't do to get your hopes up.
As I thought you'd have learnt by now.
You kept this from me.
Kept what?
My friend rang last night and you never passed the message on.
I told you this morning.
Yeah, and made it sound like one of your evil tricks.
They did say those drugs you took could bring on paranoia.
You should have told me last night.
I've got 36 others to look after apart from you. I can't come running every time one of your fancy friends rings up.
He had important news. You knew how depressed I was last night.
I hope you're not implying anything.
You should have told me.
Told you what? More wishful thinking rubbish to get you all wound up.
I am going to get out of here. They found new evidence. Ah, you don't like the idea of that, do you?
So when will you be leaving? Before or after breakfast?
It sticks in your gullet, doesn't it?
I've seen it all before, love. It can take 6 or 9 months to get back to court and then there's no guarantee. They don't reverse judgments just like that. It makes the system look stupid.
I am innocent and I can prove it.
You do that. In the meantime, I've got the keys.
He said I'd be getting out. He told me, but nothing's happening.
But are you sure that's what he said? Maybe he said he hoped you were getting out.
No, he said definitely.
Aren't you?
Because I asked him that, you know, if it was really true. Mike, it's Deirdre. Listen, what's happening? Am I getting out of here or what? Why have I got to calm down? Has something gone wrong? Mike, I've got to know.
Well, hang on a minute. If you let me get a word in, I'll tell you. It's Deirdre. Yeah. Yes, it's going to happen, but you've got to be patient. Well, yeah, your brief goes in to see a judge, and he shows him that there's new evidence that you should never have been found guilty. Right? Then he asks him to let you out on bail until the appeal is heard. Well, I don't know, do I? I mean, I can only tell you what they're telling me. But it's going to be soon. Real soon. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing their best. And Deirdre... Deirdre?
What did he say?
Sometime soon.
This year, next year, sometime never, eh, Deirdre?
They'll be getting me out on bail until my appeal comes up, he says.
Told you that, did he? Men say all sorts of things, don't they? Promise whatever you want. I bet you've been a complete fool for men in your time.
She's upset, miss.
But whose fault is that? Deirdre, listen to me. I keep telling you, you have to buckle down and do your time. Get in the right frame of mind. I know you don't like this, Deirdre, but I'm telling you for your own good. Jackie, in your experience, am I talking sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are, miss. Come on, Deirdre.
Something wrong with your food, Deirdre?
Oh, miss, she's feeling really poorly.
Better get used to it, Deirdre, because you're going to be eating in here for a long time yet. Because there's a long queue of people waiting for appeals. And then when they get to the front of the queue, they lose anyway.
What makes you such a spiteful cow? Shut up.
Take no notice, miss. She's not feeling well.
You've really got it in for me, haven't you?
Not you in particular, Deirdre. But I haven't got much time for people who think there's something special. People who think the law doesn't apply to them. Well, it does, lady. Get used to it. You and me are going to be in here for a long while yet.
Up.
Assuming she is released on bail, pending her appeal...
Which she will be. Excuse me a minute. Hello, Baldwin. Well, that is wonderful news. That is fantastic. Oh, thanks for telling me. Yeah, see you. That was Frankie Stillman, the solicitor. She's just told me they've got Lindsay down at the Nick and they're throwing the book at him. Fraud, theft, bigamy, the lot.
Well, that's the best news I've heard for a long time.
Won't do Deirdre's cause any harm.
Still here, Deirdre? Here's me, keep expecting to find Jackie on her own. You're forever telling us you're leaving, but nothing seems to come of it. That visitor you had the other day, what was his name? Barlow, was it? Yes, that one, Barlow. Did you say it was your husband?
Ex.
Oh, right, ex. I thought it must be a bit on the dodgy side, what with your name being Rashid. That your real name, Rashid?
Yes, it's my real name.
Rashid. Rashid, it's not Irish, is it?
It's Moroccan, if you must know.
Oh, Moroccan, very romantic. Has he been to visit then? No, I don't think we've seen Mr. Rashid, have we? Is he inside as well?
No. He's dead. Happy now.
I'm not here to be happy, Deirdre. Neither are you. Which you keep forgetting. Dead, eh? Fancy.
Oh, leave her alone.
Did you say something, Jackie?
No, miss.
Dead, eh? What happened? Collect anything on the insurance?
Get off my back, you cow.
Cow, am I?
No. That's what you want, can't you see? A mates will pile in, drag you up to a punishment cell and you'll get another 6 months.
You've been keeping bad company, Jackie. I shall have to watch you.
Dear, you're getting out of here. I've got 6 months whether I like it or not, no matter what I do. So have this one on me. Yeah!
That's wonderful news.
The best. Hey, what's going on?
Court of Appeals let Deirdre out on bail.
Oh, we've just had word.
But don't open the champagne yet. Wait till she gets here. Whenever.
What are you doing in there in your vest? Go get your shirt on your grey tape.
What's going on? Appeal court's let Deirdre out on bail.
You owe me.
Do you know what they're going to do to you yet?
I've got to go and see the governor this afternoon. Get your head down.
Is it her?
Yeah.
What's she doing?
She's on her way over. Right, don't rise to the beast. Just water off a duck's back, know what I'm saying?
Rashid, I've been looking for you.
Good afternoon, Mrs. V.
Shut it! I want you to go to your cell and collect together anything you want to take with you.
Take with her? Where?
Out. You're going out.
Oh, yeah. Like last time.
I'm going to miss you.
This had better be for real.
Your solicitor's here. She's waiting for you.
Well, go on then. Deirdre! Be lucky, girl. Deirdre.
Is it true? Are they letting me out?
Until the appeal, yes.
Thank God.
And with the stuff they've got on John Lindsay now, I shouldn't think you'd be coming back here.
I wasn't sure if it was real or not.
He was formally charged this morning in the magistrate's court with bigamy, amongst other things.
At last, the truth.
A few formalities, then we can head off. There's a little reception committee waiting for you outside. Mike, Mr. Barlow.
Where is she?
Who?
Veach, the woman who came in with me.
I don't know.
Especially wanted to say goodbye to her.
I think she left as soon as she brought you in.
Yeah, well, I hope for her sake I never bump into her down at the supermarket or crossing the road.
Forget her. You'll never see her again. She's the one spending the rest of her life in here, not you. Come on.
Do you know, I still can't believe all this has happened. One minute your life's normal like everyone else's, and the next you're somebody who spent time in prison.
Deirdre? Is that him?
You should like it in there, John. It's directly beneath the flight path to the airport.
Come on.
I told you I'd get you out, didn't I? I promise.
Oh, Mike. I can never repay you for everything you've done for me. Everything everybody's done. Thanks, Ken.
Well done, Frankie. You played a blind...
Ah, you know, brighter already.
I'll feel better when I've had a bath and a rest in a proper bed. Those are the only two things I want in the whole world right now.